sampurita pamita para mita balena vidvansiyo kila kilesa samola jalam teneva landa araham arahoti namam vandami buddha mamalam hadaye tapentva samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata sandhammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkadam dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa kicco manussa patilabo kiccang maccana jivitam kiccam sandhamma savanam kicco buddhanam uppado. Dear friends in Dhamma, I wish you all of them, may the Triple Gem bless you. Now we are going to start our weekly Dhamma session, Dhamma class. Today, I hope to discuss about some really rarities in our life. We are going to explain stanza in Dhammapada. You know, Dhammapada is a very special book in Buddhism, like a Bible, or you know, in Hinduism there is a book, you know, Bhagavad Gita. Like that, in Buddhism there is a very special booklet. This one, Dhammapada. There are only stanzas. Dhammapada. You can take some book, and all of them are verses or stanzas. If we can learn only one stanza, we can get some idea how we live in this world. It has a good guideline for our life. Therefore, always we discuss Dhammapada. That is a very important book in Buddhism. Here, one of them, stanza that I am going to explain, it comes in Dhammapada. It is one of the book in Buddhism. Okay. Now, Buddha explained here there are 4 rarities that Buddha says. Kicco manussa patilabo, kiccang macchana jivitam, kiccang saddhamma savanam, kicco buddhanam uppado. In his language, he says, kicco means very rare. Manussa patilabo means having a life as a human being. It is so rare. Whether we like or not, whether we know or not, this is the reality. Gaining a human life is a very rare chance in the world. The second one, kiccang macchana jivitam. Not only having a birth, but it is hard. Hard is the life of mortals. When we spend our life, we face a lot of difficulties in this life. Therefore, if a person would like to live for a long time, it is a very difficult thing. That it is also rare. And kiccam saddhamma savanam. Kiccam saddhamma savanam. Sadhamma Savana means listen to this message, listen to the Dhamma, listen to the Buddha's doctrines. It is also very rare. Listening to the sublime truth is also rare. Buddha explained not only his own idea. He discovered the world reality. He explained the world reality. It doesn't belong to him. Buddha's message doesn't belong to him. Because he realized, he discovered, he explained the world reality. Buddha says, whether Buddha appears or not in the world, this truth is forever. And Kiccho Buddhanang Uppado. Appearance of a Buddha also is very rare. A Buddha comes to the world, it is for a long time. Once for a long time. And these four things now we are going to explain. The first thing that we received, the human life, that is a very rare chance. Buddha says, we have gained a very rare auspicious moment. Buddhism says it as, in Buddha's language, he says, Kana Sampatti. Kana Sampatti means very rare auspicious moment. We have received several things in the same period, same time. What are the things that we received? We received a complete human life. There are some people in the world, they can't see, they are blind. There are some people, they are deaf. There are some people, they have no intelligence, they are mad or they have some mental problems. There are some persons, they can't walk clearly. They have some physical disabilities. They are disabled. Among them, we are so lucky. There are some persons, when they were born in the world, they were born in a country where there is a war. Everywhere they listening only the sound of bombs and other things. There are some people in the world, they were born in a very rural areas where they can't listen in some kind of good advice. There are some people who are born in the world, they were born in some environment which has very misunderstanding, misbeliefs. There are some people, they believe that we should kill others. Our religion, which is only correct. Others are Maras or devil. We are only the correct people. We should kindly kill others. That is their misunderstanding. Actually, we have overcome all of these difficulties and problems. We are so lucky. On the other hand, Buddha says that there were some periods whenever we can't listen in this kind of message. There were some persons who were born. When they were born, actually they were born in a very peaceful country. They have good parents. And they have complete life with complete organs or senses. But when they were born, there is no sublime truth. Because it is not a period that it is not a Buddha. Yes, it is not a Buddha's period. A period of a Buddha is very rare. It is very limited period. For a long time, we can't listen in this message, this truth. There were some people, there are some people who explain good deeds, good activities, but understanding of this very special doctrine, which is the dependent origination or impermanence, it is very rare chance to listening. That is why Buddha said, having all of these facilities, if a person was born in the world, it is very rare chance. We have good appearance, we have a complete human life, and we have good parents. We live in a place, where we can listen into this message. Having all of this is a very rare chance. If a person has all of these chances, all of these opportunities, we also have a very great responsibility. What is that? We should do not only our education, but we have to develop our spirit. That is also one of our duties in our life. And also Buddha says, Kicham Machana Jivitam. Not only having a human being, we should have good merits that we did in previous lives to bring this life. There are some people in the world, as soon as they were born, they die. They have some difficulties, they have some sicknesses. But like we people, we are so lucky. We have good appearance, we have longevity, everything that we have. On the other hand, when we spend our life, day-to-day life, we face a lot of difficulties. That is the nature of the life. But if we have a good idea, if we have good awareness about this message, we can overcome suffering. Even though we face some difficulties, problems, issues in our day-to-day life, if we are intelligent, if we are wise, we can overcome those kind of difficulties and sufferings. And Kitsam Saddham Savanam, listening to the sublime truth that Buddha explained, is also very rare. What Buddha explained? He explained the world reality. His truth can be divided into two: conventional truth and the ultimate truth. Conventional truth means that everybody knows it. When we live in the world, if we do something as good, we have the good result. If we do some bad deeds, we will have the bad results. That is the conventional truth. Buddhism also has explained that conventional truth, but it is not the identity of Buddhism. Buddhism has explained another truth, that ultimate truth. That is the real truth in the world. When we listening to Buddha's message, we are educated in this ultimate truth. Little by little we describe it. And the third one, Kicho Buddhanam Uppado, appearance of a Buddha also is very rare. Although Buddha has passed away, still we have the Dhamma, what he explained, what he taught to the world. We are so lucky. Buddha said, even though the Buddha disappeared, if a person can practice this message, Buddha is still living. We can alive Buddha by practicing this message. That is why Buddha said, he who sees Dhamma sees Buddha. He who practices Dhamma sees Dhamma. He who sees Dhamma sees the Buddha. Therefore, he explained the path to see him. Through practicing this message, we can see the Buddha. Not only his physical body, but we can see his understanding, his wisdom, his intelligence, his enlightenment. We can understand, we can see. Okay, these are the things, the main teachings that we are going to explain in this handout. And, when we think about these things, especially having a good human life in a Buddha's period, when we can listen to this message, is very rare. When we have this opportunity, we can be happy in our entire life. Buddha says there is a person who has no legs, who has no hands, but he is wise, he is intelligent, and he can hear. If like this a person, although he has these difficulties, he has no legs, no hands, but he lives in a period when he can listen in this message. He is so lucky, he is so fortunate, even though he has no legs and hands. There is a person who has everything, who is a prince or king. He has everything. He has all facilities. He may be the owner of the entire world, but he has no chance to listen to this message. That person is not lucky. He is not fortunate. Even though he has all facilities, even though he is the owner of the world, even, if he has no chance to listen to the message, he is not lucky. He is not fortunate. Therefore, although we have a lot of difficulties in our life, don't worry. We are so lucky. If we are intelligent, if we have open mind to see this reality, we are so lucky. We can listen into this message and we can practice it through our life, and we can achieve the results. We can see the results through our life. There are 3 teachers in the world. One of them is our mother and father. They guided us how we live in the world. There are some persons that we meet in our colleges, schools and universities. They also give some advice for our life. Our mother and father, they have given some advice for us to fulfill our life. On the other hand, the instructors that we meet in our schools and colleges, they also have given some kind of guidance to our life, to how we live in the world, how we earn some money. They are also good people. But there is another thing that, they can't explain. Our mothers, our parents, our instructors, they have no idea about the spiritual path. The spiritual path explains the spiritual guiders who are born in the world from period to period. They are the spiritual people like the Buddha. On one hand, we have to study in our day-to-day life for earning money. It is one of them to succeed our life. On the other hand, our mother and father also give some advice for us to complete our life. But there is another thing that they can't explain, which is the liberation or path of liberation or path of purification. That thing we learn, we study from the spiritual instructors. That is why we need a spiritual guidance. Why do we need a spiritual guidance? Why do we need a correct path? What are the reasons? What are the challenges that we have in our life? If we have no challenges, we don't need a spiritual guidance. Buddha explained, there are some reasons why we need a spiritual teacher and his guidance. There are 3 reasons why we need a spiritual guidance, a spiritual path or spiritual instruction. There are 3 reasons. One of them is old age. Now, although we are so young, little by little we are going finding a stick. Be sure whether we like or not, whether we aware or not, this is the reality. Day by day we are going to weaknesses. We are going to find the stick. This is the reality of our life. This is one of the reasons that we need a spiritual guidance. This is the first reason. What is the second reason that we need a spiritual guidance? The second reason is the death. We don't live forever. One day we will die. At least 100 years, everything is finished. We have nothing. The body now we use, one day going to the earth. We don't live forever. One day we will die. Death is one of the reasons that we need a spiritual teacher. If we live forever, we don't need a spiritual teacher. We don't need to practice this message. That is why these reasons. What are the reasons that we need a spiritual teacher? Yes, first one is old age. We are going to old age. And second one is death. Day by day we are reaching the death. We are going to the cemetery day by day. We are reaching cemetery day by day. There is another reason why we need a spiritual teacher. You know, what is the next reason that we need a spiritual teacher?
You might think they are right, but
rebirth. Rebirth. If everything is finished after death, we don't need a spiritual teacher. We need a spiritual teacher and his guidance, because we will be reborn according to our karmic energy, according to our mental position. That is why we need a spiritual teacher. That is why we have to practice that spiritual teacher's guidance. These are the main challenges in our life. There are 3 challenges. Other challenges are not like this. Others can be overcome. But we can't overcome these challenges without a sublime truth. You know, if we can find a spiritual guidance, especially sublime truth, then we can overcome suffering. We can face these challenges without suffering, without lamentation, without sorrow. These are the 3 challenges which are in front of our life. We should be ready. Buddhism always help us to get ready to face these challenges in our life. Other challenges are not like that. Others are minors. These are the major challenges. What they are? Old age, death, and rebirth. Whether we like or not, whether we are aware or not, these are the main challenges which are introduced by spiritual teacher, especially the Lord Buddha has introduced these main challenges in our life. If we can overcome these challenges, if we can face these challenges without fear, without suffering, without lamentation, actually day by day we should get ready to face those problems. These are the main challenges in our life. How do we face those challenges? We should be intelligent. We should be wise. Wisdom, intelligence is the only way how we overcome these challenges. Therefore, all doctrines that Buddha taught us focus on improving our intelligence, wisdom. As much as we have wisdom, we are ready to face those problems. Therefore, by practicing, by improving our wisdom, what do we aware? What we learn, what we comprehend. We comprehend, we understand, we analyze, we realize, we emphasize that our body and mind. By improving our knowledge, wisdom and intelligence, we study, we understand what happens to our body and mind. Therefore, all doctrines that Buddha explained focus on understanding our body and mind. What happens to our body and mind? If we can understand really what happens to our body and mind, then actually we are ready to overcome, we are ready to reduce suffering in our mind. The main reason whether that we suffer is ignorance. Ignorance is the biggest, worst or wrong attitude in our life. What is the ignorance that Buddha explained? Yes, not knowing the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth? What is the ultimate truth?
The world reality.
What is the world reality?
Birth and rebirth, death.
Yes, that was also one of the reasons. But when we consider the Buddha's real message, ignorance also can be divided into two. One of them is not knowing the karmic law. Karmic law means when we do something with intention, we will have the same results according to our mental conditions. If we do something with wicked mind, we will have the bad results because of polluted mind. If we do something pure mind, we will have the good results. What is the reason? Because of pure mind. There are some people in the world, they ignore about this reality. They don't know what happens to their life. They have no idea about the karmic law. According to Buddha's message, the first step that we have overcome in ignorance is overcoming not knowing of karmic law. Be aware about karmic law. What is the karmic law? If we do something with wicked mind, we will have the same results, negative results, bad results because of polluted mind. If we do something with pure mind, we will have the good results. With this understanding, as an intelligent person, we try to overcome evil. We try to overcome negative or evil or unwholesome deeds in our mind. That is the first step on the liberation. That is the first step. As much as we are aware, as much as we have this understanding, knowledge, we try to overcome evil. We try to overcome bad deeds or unwholesome deeds from our life. We know very well, if we do some bad deeds, such as stealing, killing others, sexual misconduct, false speech, using intoxicating drinks and drugs, these are the things that those pollute our mind. We try to overcome these negative or unwholesome deeds from our life. This is the first step. As much as this understanding, this is the first step that we do. In Buddha's language, he says that sabba kapasakaranam, not to do any evil. Not to do any evil. If you like peace in your life, if you like a peaceful life, we have to do this thing in the first level, first step. With this understanding of karmic law, the second thing that we do, practice do good, practice wholesome deeds, merit. When we do merits in our life, then our mind is very pure and calm. All merits, wholesome deeds can be divided into three. Generosity or charity, morality and meditation. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. First one, generosity and morality or virtue, and third one, meditation or mental culture. These are the three merits that we do as much as we have the knowledge of karmic law. Isn't? Every day, as much as we can, we try to practice this in our life. We start it in our home. At home, if we have elders or parents in our home, first of all, we help them, we take care of them. We help them. When we do good deeds, helping others, actually more benefits are for our life. When we offer flowers for the Buddha doesn't need flowers or candles. When we offer flowers, when we light candles, our mind is very pure and calm. We light candles in our mind when we light candles on the table. When we offer very beautiful flowers in front of the Buddha, we put flowers in our mind. That is why when we offer something to others, it is beneficial for them, but more beneficial for our life. More benefits for our life. Because, our mind is very pure and calm when we practice generosity. When we are ready to offer something to others, the first benefit that we have, first benefit comes to us. That is why we try to do good deeds in our life with this understanding on the path of purification, on the path of liberation. This truth, we discussed the first step of the truth, understanding of karmic law. Ignorance can be divided into two. The first one is unknowing of karmic law. If we have good knowledge about karmic law, we can overcome first level of ignorance. But still, we have ignorance. Although we do a lot of deeds in the world, be sure, still we are in the dark. Still we are in the dark. What is the darkness that Buddhism says in this level? What is the darkness? Even though a person believes the karmic law, still he is in the dark. Yeah, sometimes people have no attachment. He is ready to forgive, he is ready to donate everything. Sometimes he gives everything and he is ready to jump to the lion's cave to offer his body. But the problem is not solved. Still there is the problem. Still he is in the darkness. What is the dark in this level, even though a person believes the karmic law? There are some people who come to the world, they explain the karmic law. Even Buddha appeared in the world, there were some persons who believed the karmic law, but still they had the ignorance. What is the ignorance in this level? Still they are in the samsaric journey, still in the circle. They don't go away from the circle. Samsaric journey. Again and again they will come to the world. They are reborn. What is the ignorance in this level? It is very important. Be sensitive, be aware that in this level people think that before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we die, the world remains. In the first level of truth, the conventional truth, people believe that before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we die, the world will remain. Still it is heaven. Actually, it is true according to conventional truth. When we go to the highest level, the ultimate truth, it is not true. What is the ultimate truth? What is the real truth in the world? The world appears when our senses appear. When we think something, when we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, that is the world. That is the world when the world appears. If we think something, if we see something, that is the world. At that moment, that is our world. When we listen something, that listening experience is our life. It is instant. It is the present moment. Every moment the experience arises and ceases. This is the world reality. But we usually work on conventional truth. All regulations, rules depend on conventional truth. We have to respect it. We can't avoid it. We can't neglect it. We live in the world. Even Buddha also respected the conventional truth. Because all regulations and rules depend on conventional truth. But we should understand that conventional truth is not the real reality. It is not the real truth. That is why, if a person would like to overcome suffering, if a person would like to achieve the real happiness, that person has to understand the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth depends on impermanence. What is the impermanence that Buddhism says?
What's the ultimate truth?
Ultimate truth means
you can bring nothing from the past into the present, and
past has this, future doesn't come yet. Mm-hmm. We have the present moment. Mm-hmm. That present experience also arises when conditions are together. Mm-hmm. Once we have only one experience through our one sense. Mm-hmm. Although we have 6 senses, those 6 senses don't work at once. Mm-hmm. When one sense works, other 5 senses are dead. Mm-hmm. But because these senses are very fast, because of ignorance we think all of them are together. All of them together work, we believe that. But when we develop our intelligence, we can understand one sense works, then other sense are dead. Only one sense, like eyes, ear, nose, only one sense works at once, then other senses are dead. The experience also that we receive through our senses also arrives at the moment when conditions are together. It is very fast. Then if we can understand this reality, as soon as we think something, we don't run to the past. But we can remember, we can imagine, we can focus past or future. But if we have awareness, if we have mindfulness, if we have knowledge of impermanence, as soon as we think something, we don't run to the past. We can imagine, we can remember, but we do it with attention, with mindfulness. For example, we mostly take an example that if a person has blamed you, as soon as remember you that person, what happens to your mind? Yes, we mostly get angry. What is the reason? We remember that incident and also our mind runs to the past and our mind lives in the past experience. That is the cause of anger. Remembering is not the fault. What is the fault? The fault is when we think that incident, our mind automatically goes to the past and our mind lives in the past. When we think somebody who brings you luck or what you have cravings, as soon as you remember that person, you live in the past experience. That is why you have lust. That is why we have anger. Then if we can remember, imagine those experiences as past experience with mindfulness, seeing impermanence, we can imagine, we can remember anything in past or future, but we don't suffer. We don't get angry. We have no lust because of awareness and intelligence. This is the thing that day by day we have to practice. Our success, our skillfulness, our proficiency completely depends on how far we have mindfulness, how far we are living in the present moment, how much we have intelligence, how far we have knowledge about impermanence. This is the real success that we have to increase. Our success, our happiness, our liberation, our purification completely depends on how much we have this knowledge with mindfulness and knowledge of impermanence. We should have not only knowledge. Knowledge isn't enough. We should have not only knowledge, but we should have mindfulness. Although you have this knowledge, if you don't practice mindfulness, knowledge is useless. Knowledge is useless if you don't have mindfulness. We should have knowledge and also mindfulness and also wisdom. What is the wisdom? Seeing the impermanence. What is the impermanence? When we see something, this picture, this experience arises this moment. It doesn't come to the present from the past. It doesn't go to the future from the present. This experience arises and ceases in this moment. When you listen this sound was not here before you heard it. After you heard it, it didn't remain here. It arises and ceases at the moment when conditions are together. What are the conditions? My fingers, my effort, my ears, my attention, my mind, all of them are together. Those are the conditions. When conditions are together at the moment, we have experience. Then conditions separate, the experience ceases. Our whole experience that we get through our entire life is like that. Then, little by little, if we can aware about this knowledge, we are so lucky. Then this is the thing, this is the benefit that we receive from our life as an intelligent person. You know, Buddha explained this message for the people who are intelligent. Buddha didn't explain this message not for the Buddhism. He explained before he went to a forest to explain this message. First of all, he invited the people, please come to listen my message. Who is intelligent, honest, come here. We should have these qualities. What are they? We should be wise and we should be honest. Honesty is one of the major qualities that we should have. If we are not honest, we can get the result from this message. Therefore, at the very beginning, we should be honest and also we should be intelligent. We should be wise. What are the wisdom? What is the intelligence that Buddha explained at the very beginning on this path? Actually, all of you are intelligent because if you can understand what I am saying, then you have enough intelligence. But it should be increased little by little. But at the very beginning, it is enough if you can understand what I am saying about impermanence. Day by day, we should go on this path. Knowledge is the first level. Then, with this knowledge, we have to practice 3 disciplines. 3 disciplines. What are these 3 disciplines? It comes in page number 3 that, if you have a map where you are going to, having enough, it is not enough that you have a map. According to map, you have to drive, you have to walk. Now you have the map. But after map, you have to drive, you have to work. You have a path. Where will you go? What is the path? There are 3 disciplines. First one is virtue and tranquility, wisdom. What is the virtue? Virtue means discipline in our speech and behavior. That is very important. When we are going to practice the path of liberation, at the very beginning we should have good discipline in our speech. When we talk something, when we behave something, again and again, we have to think whether it is correct or not. Buddha says in his language, Pachavekitva, Vachaya Kammakhatabban. Reminding, considering again and again, when you speak something, you have to reflect on it, whether it is correct or not. And also, when you do something, when you behave, again and again think whether it is correct or not. That is very important. If we have misbehavior or misspeech in our words, it is a barrier in our path, on the path of liberation. That is why, as much as we have good discipline in our speech and our behavior, it is very easy to go on this path. The second one that we have, tranquility. Tranquility means concentration, keeping our mind in the present moment, practicing such a meditation like Levantine meditation and breathing meditation, practicing these meditation techniques, if we can develop our concentration or mindfulness or awareness, the nature of our mind is that, it goes here and there. It mostly goes to the past or future. By practicing concentration and meditation, we try to keep our mind in the present moment. Our beauty of life depends on how far we are ready to live in the present moment. In this environment, so beautiful. But if you think something in past or future, actually it is dark. Light is here, beauty is here. Everywhere, when you are in, if you can live with mindfulness, you can see the beauty of your life. It doesn't sound you forget past or future. We have good memory. We remember everything. But we don't live past or future. And we live in the present moment. Living in the present moment, we can imagine, we can remember everything in past or future. It is not the fault. What is the fault? The fault is when we remember something in past or future, if we live in the past or future with anger and lust, that is the fault. That is the cause of suffering. That is the cause of rebirth. Then, by practicing tranquility, we try to live in the present moment. There are several meditation techniques that we can use to keep our mind in the present moment. The most important meditation technique in Buddhism to control our mind and keep it in the present moment is breathing meditation. Anapanasati bhavana. Breathing meditation. When we think about our breathing in and out, focusing our mind in this area, we can put our attention in the present moment. It is a very useful meditation technique that we can practice mindfulness in the present moment. And also, not only tranquility, in Buddha's period, even before the Buddha, there were some people who have developed those mind in the maximum level with concentration. But, still they were in the sansaric journey, circle, in the circle. What is circle?
In the dark.
In the dark. What is the darkness? That they thought that before they were born, there was a world. After they die, the world remains. That is the darkness. Then what is the light? What is the real understanding? At the moment this world arises and ceases. According to, when our senses arise, when our senses appear, then world arises. When our senses cease, then world ceases. This is the reality. If we can understand this doctrine and also if we can practice it in our day-to-day life, like our breathing, continuously we have to practice it again and again. Then we live in a fresh world. Now we are not in the fresh. We are not new, we are not fresh. Why? We must live in the past. Even though we are on the 1st of January, we are not new, we are not very fresh. Yeah, we live in the past. Living in the present moment is the real way that we live with happiness. That where we live the beauty of our life. Not only tranquility, but with the concentrated mind, we have to see the world reality, impermanence. What is the impermanence? Every moment this experience arises and ceases. Arises and ceases. But something remains. Our memory. When we remind something, we can understand it. That is the one of the qualities of our mind. It says sati. Sati means memory. Memory means it doesn't remain anywhere. One of the abilities of mind is that we can think some our past experience. That is one of the qualities of our mind. It doesn't sound that memory is in somewhere. Memory is no anywhere. It is the one of the qualities of our mind. When we develop mindfulness, scientists say that memory is in this side. When a person, there are some persons in the world, they are like water, they are like air, they are in this side. They have no material things like this, but they have memory. They have memory, water. If water is a liquid, it needs a bottle or some cup. When we put some water in deep freezer, in fridge, actually it is like a, how do we say? Solid. When we boil the water, what happens to it? Yes. It is invisible. The same water. When it is liquid, it needs a cup. When it is, when we dry it, when we boil it, then it's like air. And when we put it in the freeze, it becomes solid. Our life also like that. In this level, we are like solid. There are some realms like water, like a liquid. There are some realms like air or invisible realms. But they have memory. They can explain their previous lives. They have a memory. Actually, memory doesn't depend on a physical thing. But according to scientists, according to some neurologists, they say that memory should have some kind of material things. But when we going forward with understanding, it doesn't need a physical thing. It is a need, it is a quality of the mind. Memory is the quality of the mind. When we practice mindfulness, we can remind anything which happened in our past. Not only this life, we can remember what happened when we were in our mother's womb. Not only that, again and again, when we develop our memory, when we develop our mindfulness, we can imagine, we can remember in our previous life, not only one or two, we can remember millions of previous lives when we develop our mindfulness. Memory is one of the qualities of our mind. It doesn't remain in a physical thing like mind, like our mind. Mind also is invisible, our memory also invisible. Okay, here especially I would like to explain you that on the path of liberation, on the path of understanding of ultimate truth, we have a path with 3 steps. One of them is virtue or discipline in our speech and behavior, and also tranquility or concentration, keeping our mind in the present moment with mindfulness, and also wisdom. Wisdom means seeing, arising and ceasing. What happens to our senses? What happens to our experience at the moment? Every moment we receive some experience through our senses. That experience doesn't come to the present from the past. That experience doesn't go to the future from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment with the conditions. This is the nature of our life. This is the reality. If we can imagine, if we can keep our mind in this reality, and also if we can live in this reality, then we have overcome material things. If we have overcome material things, then we have not relationship with our old age and death. We have overcome them. Now we live in the material position. When we have this understanding in our life, we use material things, we use a physical body, but we don't live in physical body. We live in mind. We live with this understanding in the present moment. If a person can live in the present moment with mindfulness and wisdom, seeing the impermanence, at that moment, those people have overcome material things. If a person has overcome material things, it means we have overcome sicknesses, old age, death, everything. It doesn't sound that we are not going to old age. If a person who enlightens, they also become old age. They are also subject to die, but that death or sicknesses don't belong to them. They live in the mind. This understanding. This is the way how we overcome suffering. This is the way how we liberate. This is the way for the purification. This is the way how we get rid of suffering. This is the only way how we achieve the real happiness. This is the way how we overcome old age, death and rebirth. Then Buddha's all doctrines focus on getting rid of old age, death and rebirth. Buddha's all doctrines focus on getting rid of suffering. Then day by day, if we are clever to go forward on this path, we are so lucky, we are going on the path of happiness. We are going on the path of happiness. If a person is going on this path, it means that that person is going on the path of real happiness. It doesn't sound that we don't study, we don't do our responsibilities. Actually we do. Because that is why we study, that is why we learn, that is why we are trained. We should have earned something to eat. We do it, but we know very well the real happiness, the real liberation depends on this attitude, this vision, this understanding. On the one way, we earn some money righteously. On the other hand, we practice this path. We do both parallel. If we are intelligent, if we are wise, if we have real understanding about this path, we are so lucky. We do not only earn in money or get in education, but we know very well there is another path for the real happiness that we have to practice the spiritual path. Both of them should be developed parallelly if you are an intelligent person. Then we are so lucky. Then we have get the result from the real life. Although we receive a very real life, if we don't practice this path, actually we don't get the result from this very rare chance. And having a rare chance, not only doing a job or not only taking care of our relatives or children, but we have other very highest duty, that practicing this path. And also, if we can practice both of them, we can win the world. We should win not only this world, we should win over the world. If we are intelligent, we can win both of worlds. But most of people in the world, they try to win only the material world. But we should try to win the spiritual world. Then we are the so skillful persons. Then for that, we try to do aware, and we try to study this path again and again, because knowledge is very important. Without knowledge, we have nothing to practice. Not only knowledge, but we have to practice it. Although we have knowledge, if you don't practice it, our knowledge is useless. In a library, if we don't put the book in the proper place, if a book is misplaced, it means that library hasn't that book. Not having a book and missing a book in the library is same. Our knowledge is also like that. Although we have knowledge, if you don't practice, what is the practicing? Practicing mindfulness. If you don't practice mindfulness, our knowledge is useless. Therefore, both of them are very important. In one side, we should have enough knowledge. On the other hand, according to knowledge, we have to reflect on it again and again, and we have to practice mindfulness and wisdom in our day-to-day life. Okay, let's try to do it day by day and try to go forward and getting the results from this valuable life. Our life is so valuable. Buddha has given a real value of our life. Okay. Okay, if you have any question, Mr. Fernando, you can ask. Okay. Okay, now we are going to end our session. We talked about the rarity of human life. First of all, we discussed Kicho Manisavaltlabo in Pali language. Having birth as a human being is rare. Kicham Machana Jivitam, hard is the life of mortals. When we live, we have to face some difficulties, we have to overcome some problems in our life. Kicham Saddhamma Savanam, listening to the Dhamma is very rare, because it is the truth, it is the world truth. World truth can be divided into two, that the conventional truth and the ultimate truth. Conventional truth depends on the world circle, and the ultimate truth go away from the circle. The circle, what is the circle? Most of people in the world, they think before they were born, there was a world. After they die, even though they die, the world remains. That is the world circle. How we overcome world circle? The world arises when we look at, when we hear, when we smell. The world arises and ceases in the moment, at the moment. It is instant. It doesn't remain. Every moment, world arises and ceases through our senses as our experience. If we remain something, if we get something as certain, that is the fault, that is the fault cause of suffering. If we can overcome this misconcept, then we can overcome suffering. Okay? And Kitso Buddha Hanamupado, appearance of a Buddha also is very rare. We are living in Buddha's period, even though Buddha passed away, still we have his message, his Dhamma. If we can allow it in our life, then he who sees Dhamma sees Buddha. He who can practice through his life this message can see the Buddha. Not his physical body, we can see his intelligence, his wise, his wisdom, his understanding, his enlightenment. This is the way how we reach the Buddha. Okay, thank you for your coming. We discussed a lot. I appreciate your good attention for this sermon. And now we are going to end this session. Okay, first of all, you came here very faithfully. And first of all, we observed 5 precepts. And also we meditated. And in this moment, you are listening to this message faithfully, with confidence. And by listening this message and by practicing meditation, we accumulated a lot of merits, spiritual energy in our mind. Now we are going to transfer this spiritual energy to our departed relatives kindly. That is our tradition. Whatever we do as merit after the activities, we mostly transfer these merits to our departed relatives kindly. Okay, now the time. Please remember your departed relatives, and may all our departed relatives receive these merits that we accumulated in this moment. Receiving these merits, may they achieve good life, and finally may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our beloved departed relatives, reciting Pali stanza. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits that we did now, may all guardian deities and angels also receive these merits, and receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. May they protect you. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to divine persons, guardian deities and angels too. Recite in Pali stanza. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous goals meet with success. May you attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāja nirdukkha, bhayam pantāja nirbhaya, sokam pantāja nissokha, anto sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you.